Okay, here's a watch this video for Monday, October 23rd. The SPY, another strong day. Remember, this gap down on Thursday and then ran all day and then it gapped up and closed at its highs on Friday. So super strong market. Earnings season, you're getting into the thick of it probably pretty soon this week. So, be advised. Let's see what we have here. IWM, that's also faring pretty well. Not at all-time highs, but close enough to say, you know what, that's pretty darn strong too. Here's what I have on watch for Monday. SRAX, super strong. I actually called this long in the chat room on Friday at 377 and ended up running to 472 without coming close to our stop. So that was a nice one. But you know what? After this big move, and then a couple days lower, and now bulls are back in charge. This one might just rip again, so we're going to keep our eyes on SRAX. TRXC finally did bounce, and you've kind of got a two-day high right here, so let's keep our eyes on that for some follow-through of that bounce. CCIH, this one's a little bit lower key, if you will. You had this big spike back here, you had a lower high, you kind of have a flag within a bigger flag, if you really want to get particular. I really like this chart. I just don't like the fact that it doesn't have great recent volume. I would point out it had 268,000 traded on Friday. But over this little flag here, I look to the left. I say you've got a catalyst right there that would note the 200-day. But so if you break this flag, you might knock down this recent high and maybe really rip. So it's a great setup. I'd like to see more volume in it though. DELT is a little even more obscure to me than that CCIH. This thing just keeps pressing at the 200-day. And you've got a two-day high at 150. This might be my least favorite of all of them because there's just no volume here. But over 150, you might take out this high and maybe get going. You can see back here, it did break free. That's something I always look for when I'm stalking a trade. I want stocks that have somewhat of a recent history, going back over the past year of breaking free, for lack of a better way of putting it, at least once or twice. Because remember, I'm looking for a big move on an intraday basis. I'm a day trader. I'm looking to find stocks that I like the chart and have a good chance to rip tomorrow, right? Because I'm going to be trading tomorrow and I'll be in cash tomorrow night. So that's what these lists are. This is not me looking for investments, just to make that clear. I know I say that a lot, but I want everybody to understand it. RCON, nice bounce on Friday, and looking for a continuation of that bounce. And real quick, I'm going to slide over how my October's going. I don't do this, it probably doesn't come off though. I don't do this to brag though. I do this to show that what I do and how I trade, I employ the methods that Wayne and I teach in our course and we talk about in our chat room every day. And these are my trades. Each little green dot is a new high for the month. This is my equity curve for October. And it is all a result of these watch lists that you see and then employing the intraday strategies and playing defense first. So I'm very proud of what I'm doing. And it's a very unique way to learn to trade. So if you're interested, visit our website, please, because I literally employ the tactics that we teach every single day. Got tired of being underwater in stocks, got tired of trying to average down. I got tired of all the nonsense. And so I basically developed a system where when I enter a stock, it should be green right away. And I'll sit in cash and listen until I have a setup like that. And then playing defense, scaling out, and a whole bunch of other stuff, including trading rules, go into it. Love to help you out with that if you're interested. After RCON, let's go. We've got NEOT. Now this one's weird because you have two what you call topping tails here on the daily. So I was on the fence about putting this on watch, but when I put it on 15s, you had this huge move. And it seems to have found support over the last couple days around, between $1.10 and $1.20. And so for that reason, even though the daily has those topping tails, I want to watch this. What I'd like to see is kind of a narrow range for the morning and then an upside break out of that range in the afternoon. And that's when I would get involved. That's one example of what I'd like to see anyway. So, switching to 15s kind of helps me realize it does have decent support between 110 and 120. So it's interesting enough to put on my watch list. It doesn't mean I'll trade it, right? All right, so then IMMY, this one also, I don't know, not that interesting because, it had this huge pop. It gave back a lot of it. Switching to 15s on this one, I'm not in love with it, but if it can hold, Friday's low, maybe this one will get some legs to the upside it traded, geez, over 20 million shares on Thursday. And then you could call this an inside day on Friday. The whole number 2 might come into play right around Friday's open. So I don't know. This is another one I feel like it's worth watching, but I'm not in love with it. PRAN. I had this huge pop, and it held up pretty well. If bulls are wrong, you kind of expect to see this immediately get thwarted. Like after this pop, it started coming down. After this pop, it gapped all the way down to here. So it's holding up well, and you've got an inside day. So it's certainly interesting over Friday's high over 355. Then you've got Thursday's high above, a couple other potential targets to run at. So I do kind of like this one. I would note that it traded 555,000 shares on Friday. It's a pretty thin one. VHC, a little bit obscure again. Like, I don't look at this daily chart and fall in love, but it had this huge move all the way up to, almost $9 and then came crashing back down. So switching to 15s, you did have this nice bounce on Thursday, and it stopped at 6. It was kind of trailing right below 6 on Friday, also Thursday. So, it was right below 6. So for this reason, and with VHCs, let's go to like 60s, with this huge move back here, and then, you have a retracement and then a bounce, and now you've got a battle. This is one that if it breaks 6, might just rip to the upside, right? In other words, shorts might have got everything they're going to get out of selling that huge move, selling into that huge move, and then knocked it down nicely. But if this can break through 6, get a little volume, you might see some kind of little mini short squeeze back up to 7 or above, because VHC can really move when it moves. So even though, I don't know, I didn't even find this like doing my scans, I kind of thought to myself as I was looking at charts today, hey, I wonder what VHC looks like, right? Because we had some really nice trades in it back here. And then I started studying it. So for that reason, it's not near a breakout anymore, but I think we might get some short covering if we get some volume through 6. So that's my thinking, and that may never happen, and that's fine, then I won't trade it. NETE, kind of another obscure one. Some of these today are certainly kind of obscure, but have the possibility of really ripping if they set up right. And NETE is another one, right? I don't look at this daily chart and fall in love with it by any means, but you had the reverse split, and then it had really nice volume, after the reverse split right here, that the intraday range was 406 to 743. That's a huge move. It gave a lot of it back, but it's kind of building again. So there's another one that's interesting through 6. So you've kind of got a 2-day high at 6. If it gets through 6, shorts might start to throw in the towel a little bit, and we could get a little mini squeeze there. It's got a tiny float now, thanks to that reverse split. So, again, a little obscure, but we're going to watch it. RGSE has been in the news a lot lately. On the face of it, I like the daily chart here. You got the big pop, and it's coiling. You've got, lower high, lower high, lower high, higher lows too. So if we can get up over this area, it could certainly just rip. It's holding the 8-day pretty nicely. You've got 2 red days now after the gap up. So this one I'm putting on bounce watch. I think it might turn up, especially if we can hold the 8-day, might turn up tomorrow. And then ADHD, type that again. ADHD, again, you've got kind of a topping tail, a couple red candles, but switching to 15s. There's the gap up. And actually had 2 nice trades on the long side in this one before it finally gave all this up on Thursday. And then you see on Friday, it kind of tried to run out of the gate and got slapped down again. It's holding the half pretty well. So this is one that might get going. It's one of those that I want to have on my radar. I don't look at the daily and fall in love with it. But I would also say, you know what? It's holding up fairly well after the gap up. So this one might confound some shorts and just rip higher. That's all I have. After going over this list, there's nothing I'm really in love with. But at the same time, I think from this list, there might be 1 or 2 rippers. And if I can catch them, couple that with a nice morning gap play, that will add gappers on to the list on Monday morning. I'm thinking we could have a pretty nice day on Monday. So I think we got a lot to choose from here, and be vigilant and watch them all. A quick thank you to all of our students that showed up. I tweeted a joke on Saturday. I said if at Day Trader Wayne, that's my partner I put the course together with. I said if he tells you we're going to do a refresher course for all of our course takers on a Saturday morning, and it's going to be from 9 to noon, my tip is clear your calendar till at least 3 in the afternoon, because that's exactly what happened. I knew he wasn't going to be done at noon. Man, he did a great job, though. He had a ton of captures, and the cool thing, like actual videos of trades we were stalking, and I love the way he puts it. It was like reviewing game tapes because, a lot of people out there will show you, oh, look at this great chart setup and look what happened. And this is a setup that we teach. Everything in our course and our refresher course is actually live video captured from actual trades called and traded by us. So that's the difference. We don't teach theory. We teach, hey, here's what we did. Here's why we did it. And Wayne did a fantastic job. There were like 99 slides. People said to us, man, thanks for putting this together. And I had to correct him and say, no, Wayne put this all together. He did every bit of it. He's extremely passionate. Student success is so important to him that he just puts so much extra time into everything. Anyway, I wanted to give my tip of the hat to Wayne because he did a fantastic job on Saturday. I was there. I was talking about trading a little bit and the things that I'm passionate about. But as far as the material, that was all Wayne. We got some great feedback from the students that showed up, and I'll tell you what, we had a ton of people show up on Saturday morning and pretty much stay the whole time. So hats off to you guys too. That's right there. That tells Wayne and I that you're going to be successful, because while other people, said, well, a course refresher would be nice. I'd love to look at some game tapes from trades and have them explain to me and what you're looking at and why you took the trades. I would love that, but you know what? I'm not getting up early on a Saturday. There's the difference between what we call the GTMIs, the going to make it students, and the NGTMIs, the not going to make it students. You have to have passion for this. You have to have eat and breathe it for a while until you get it. If you want to make it as a trader. And I've said this before, learning to trade should be a minimum of 60 hours a week. And then when you become a professional day trader, in theory, you could work 10 hours a week. You could just trade the open 2 hours every morning and then have one hell of a life. So, keep that in mind. Hopefully that gives you something to shoot for. Hopefully my October equity curve can help inspire people. Because I said this at the end of the course refresher on Saturday. A lot of people will tell you that trading is gambling and you don't know what a stock's going to do. And you know what? That's accurate. You don't know what a stock's going to do. But when you learn how to trade, you can certainly stack the odds in your favor, maybe even better than a casino has the odds in their favor, right? And then you can trade accordingly. And I couldn't have gone, it's October 22nd right now, I couldn't have gone every day green in October if there wasn't some kind of a system I was using, right? Because if you're thinking trading's a coin flip and your spouse is telling you it's all luck and you don't know, you have no control over what a stock's going to do and it's all guesswork, nobody could put forth an equity curve like that if there wasn't a method, if it wasn't some science to it. I hope that makes sense, right? And I only show that because I want to show people that it's not a coin flip once you learn how to trade. It's not. It's absolutely not. I have no red days in October, which I'm certain will guarantee me a red day on Monday. Anytime I come off bragging about that, usually blows up in my face and I have a red day. But with that in mind, the only reason I pointed out is to let people know that you can make it into a science and actually do this for a living, all right? And equity curves like that aren't possible if it was guesswork. So keep that in mind. I'm just hoping to inspire. That's it. All right, I'm done babbling. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll see everybody on Monday.